Hello and welcome to the Fric and Frac podcast, episode number 2. Let's bring in this humongous audience once again. Frac, how you doing?
Good. Real good.
Yeah, man, I was looking through some of the analytics for our first podcast on 2 platforms, on Spotify and on YouTube. We had a total of 49 people tune in.
Is that right?
Yeah, I know. I was pretty shocked myself. Smashed our previous record of 7 views on YouTube.
What was the average duration of listen?
So we had right around 6 minutes per listen, which I don't know what that works out to as a percentage of an hour and 20 minutes, but it's not much.
Oh, boy.
So pretty much by this point, 80% of the audience had already tuned out.
Yeah. Should I keep my day job?
I would recommend it. Okay, so on today's podcast, we want to finish up a little bit of conversation on Kyle's bull elk hunt and his pack out job and how he butchered and quartered it up. And then we're going to move on to Pennsylvania archery season, which begins tomorrow here in Pennsylvania.
Not only that, it's just the anticipation of the long-awaited dead elk. It was just and there was a lot of character in this one in the antlers and
So here we're gonna post a couple of pictures of that so the audience can see. This bull had quite a bit of palmation on the tail end of his beams, didn't he?
He did on the left side there. The only way I can really explain it is it was the only elk on the mountain that had identified himself as a moose. So,
did you ask him what his pronouns were before you shot him?
No, I just
Okay, well that's good. Okay, so
I didn't want to offend him, so I shot him with an arrow.
So this is so quite a bit larger than a white-tailed deer, so you're not dragging it out to your vehicle.
Yeah.
So what method did you use when you quartered this thing up?
Yeah, I used the gutless method, which I'd only done one time before on the pronghorn antelope that I shot out here. So and you know it and I know it. I mean, we're just used to dragging a deer to the edge of the field driving a truck, and
I've never done it any other way. So
yeah, the gutless method, I mean, after we had done all the pictures and just, sent some polos and it was just time to get started on this elk. I just started really, you know how it is when you skin an animal. You kind of get better at it, I would say, each time. And I've not skinned a lot of animals, but I started just basically right down the back of the neck. And I really just from the spine down. I just went from the spine down. I don't know if there's an easier way. I'm not, you watch so many videos at home, like a YouTube video on how to do this, how to do that. And you just realize when you're out there, I mean, a lot of that stuff, you didn't retain much of
it. How many times did you cut yourself before you actually cut the hide?
Difficult, and when you get some momentum behind skinning a deer, I mean, you can really get the job done. So
was the hide tight?
So we worked our way back down to the rear quarter, and then I really just kind of attacked that rear quarter first.
So you just basically came down from the spine, skinned it down. You got in the rear quarter. Did you have anything to cut the lower part of the leg off, or did you just kind of get your knife in that joint and cut it off, or did you leave it on, or how did you handle that?
Well, really, once we got to the point of actually trying to take the leg off, the rear quarter wasn't it wasn't very difficult to just lift that leg straight up and pop the ball out of the hip socket, honestly.
Yeah. I'm talking about the lower part. So from the hoof to the first knuckle, did you leave that part on or did you take it off?
Oh, we left that on. The
so
butcher
you
took
that
it
out.
off. We did, which adds about an extra 10 pounds. And the reason I did that, this is actually the second elk that I've quartered. I actually forgot that I went on a cow elk hunt last year, and I struggled on that knuckle for. So this year, I knew we didn't have that far to pack it out, so I just said, "Joe, put that on."
How far did you pack it?
Oh, straight line. I think it was 800 yards, but with the contour of the mountain and everything, I'm going to add about 200 more. I'm going to say it was 1,000 yards
and
down the mountain.
How many trips did it take you?
Well, it took us 2 trips. The first trip, I took a rear quarter and back straps. No, let me think about this. No, I took a front quarter, back straps, and random scrap meat and tenderloin and all that stuff. That was my first trip down.
Okay.
And Joe took a rear quarter. He didn't really have like a hunting pack. He sort of had like a hiker's pack.
Yeah.
And he put a whole rear quarter. He slid that right down in his pack. And then he carried a front quarter, like cradled in his arms down the mountain. Yeah.
That sounds fun.
No, we proceeded to kind of walk ourselves right into the middle of that drainage, and we got tangled up in some brush.
Of course, that hoof sticking up out of the pack probably didn't help much either.
No, really, I need to.
So you packed it about 1,000 yards. What time did you begin processing the animal, and like what time did you get back to the truck with your first load?
I think that we found the elk and started on it. I think about 9:15. I think I had found it by like 8:30, and then 9:15, we started on it. And I think our first trip down was probably. I remember getting down to the Suburban like a little bit before noon. So I think we got down there at 11:30. So if you think about it, it's about 3 hours to cut it up and pack it down the first trip.
And then what did you?
And the next time I had what's left. I put a rear quarter in my pack, and then I strapped the head onto the pack as well. So I had a rear quarter and the head.
Oh man. What do you figure that weighed?
I'm going to say with all that and gear. Now, I had tried to lighten up my pack back at the Suburban, and I wasn't like in dire need of water and stuff like that. So I lightened up the pack significantly. And I'm going to say at the very least 85 pounds. But yeah. I'm sure it was heavier.
It may have started at 85, but when you got back to Suburban, it was what, like 120?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. The way I had strapped that head onto the pack, it had loosened up down the mountain, and it made it absolutely miserable with that thing flopping around and getting caught on everything. At one point, I had fallen, and I really don't know how I would have got up without Joe literally like spotting me like a squatter would and like picking me up.
Yeah, man. So you shoot the elk at 8 o'clock in the morning or so, or what? 8:30.
I shot him at 7:45.
7:45.
Yep.
And you got back to the Suburban with the last load at what time?
Oh, it was almost 2 o'clock.
And how much had the temperature come up in that time? So, like, were you thinking, man, I got to get this because I don't know how long this meat's going to stay good, or did the temperature pretty much stay at a reasonable?
Well, it really didn't become a concern at all.
Okay.
It was probably high 30s when we started and mid 50s by the time, well, by 2 o'clock, it was probably into the 60s. But you got to remember, like, we're hunting the north side of the mountain, the dark timber side.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're not really getting hit with the sun that much.
Yeah.
And that's why the elk are there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I know when I was out there, like, it was low 40s overnight, and then we were roasting at 85 degrees in the afternoon.
Yeah, we did not have good weather. That was pretty terrible. I felt really bad. If they could just get all this global warming under control, would be all right.
Yeah. The major cause of that I've noticed is long about morning, this great big ball of fire comes up over the hill and it just starts warming everything up. I think if we could like maybe spray some water on that and cool that down a little, we wouldn't have such a problem. I mean, the climate change is like 25 degrees every day. I don't get it. All this climate change.
I don't understand why they don't call you about this.
I know. How about it? Okay. So have we talked about everything about this elk hunt to nauseam?
Oh, I probably just mentioned maybe a few things I learned. How about that?
Go ahead, man.
First thing I would say is wrap some duct tape or electrical tape around your trekking poles or around something you take with you hunting, because I ended up slicing my finger pretty bad cutting that elk up, and a Band-Aid wouldn't have cut it. So I literally had to Band-Aid it and then wrap that with tape. So you'll definitely need some of that. And I think the biggest lesson as far as packing out an elk that I learned on this first real pack out that I did, and it really was about as easy as you can get. I mean, downhill to the road, 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
But know how to use your pack and know how to load it. When you are in that situation and you got an elk head flopping around on your back, and I mean, it just makes it really miserable.
What would you recommend folks do to prepare for that? I mean, the only thing I could think of is if you went, like when you went to your local grocery store and were buying meat, if you just took your pack with you and practice loading it in there, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you just know how to use your pack. Whether it's a bag of dog food or whatever, I guess the reason I say all that is because I didn't really ever load it up before, and the first time I did, it was like, oh, these packs have tons of straps and buckles, and it's like putting something together and you come out with extra parts, right?
Yeah.
You end up with extra straps laying around. You're like, wait a minute, where's this one supposed to go?
Cool. Did you eat any of it yet?
Oh, man. I've been chowing down on this thing for about a week and a half now. No, probably 2 weeks now. Yeah.
Must be nice.
Oh, it really don't taste that good. It's just pretty much better than beef. That's all.
I don't know. We were at the Loaf of Bread tonight, and I had me a piece of prime rib. I got to say, it was pretty good.
Wow. That sounds good.
Yeah, buddy.
So is this one of them podcasts that's like an experience? Is this one of those podcasts where you listen and they have a bunch of giveaways and what are we giving away?
I don't know. We can't give away any thoughts because we don't have very many of them.
Yeah, we probably ran out of those on the first one.
And if by the warehouse you mean the garbage room at my house where all my hunting stuff eventually ends up.
First one to refer 16 of their friends gets what?
I don't know. Get an official worn out T-shirt.
There you go. All right. So you got a deer season coming up.
I do.
So we'll just go ahead and reverse the roles here, and let me ask you some questions. So here we go. First question. What is the overall feeling going into the 2021 deer season for you?
Oh, man. I got a kind of feeling it's going to be a dud. And the reason for that is, I guess, with the way our summer went here in Perry County, I didn't actually buy my hunting license until the last weekend of August. So
which is much later for you than normal.
Yeah, much later. So I have a buck tag this year, and that is it. That is it. So I don't really know. I haven't hardly done any scouting whatsoever. I did hang a new stand last weekend, and
right.
I in a new spot, mostly because the stand I had in that area before the tree fell down that it was attached to, which is never a good thing.
Yeah, especially when you're in it.
Well, I wasn't in it.
Yes, good.
Anyway, so I hung a new stand, and it is, I'm going to say it's somewhere between 22 and 25 feet off the ground.
Wow.
And it's like the highest stand I have ever hung. And
can I ask what the thinking was there? Is there a strategy there, or is that just where it had to be in the tree you wanted?
Well, there was no other tree anywhere nearby that I could hang in. And so when you hunt private land, you hunt the same land every year, you kind of get a pattern on the deer, like a historical pattern. So
yeah.
You know the deer are going to move a certain way at certain times of the year. That stand that had fallen down, it was very early season, and late muzzleloader season was a good stand. Any other time of the year, not so much. Besides that, I hung it in a spot that's really easy to get into if you get off work, and have 45 minutes. You can get into it without spooking anything.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
that's a nice option. We don't really have that too much out here, as you know.
Yeah.
Okay,
and then I replaced the stand with the same straps, nylon straps. I figured it was time to replace it. It started rusting out.
Yeah.
They just don't make them like they used to, man.
Yeah, you mean with like boards and nails?
Yeah. Hey, you laugh about that. I shot my first ever buck out of a old wooden tree stand nailed up between two trees.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, between two trees, and then it had those great big spikes that you see in the side of a telephone pole.
Okay, yeah.
That's how you got up in it.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Whoever did that was dedicated. I hunted out of that stand, I'm going to say the first 10 years I hunted, 12 years.
Wow.
I hunted out of that stand. And eventually the boards, like the nails rusted free and the boards came loose. So you had to be real careful getting in and out of it. Of course, I always didn't wear a harness.
Yeah, isn't that something? I imagine these stands you hung have lifelines and all that stuff now, huh?
One of them does.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, you're strapped to the tree, I imagine.
Yeah, I do have a tree strap and all of them to hook into.
Yeah. So, have you made the decision which one you're going to be in first morning, tomorrow morning now? It's actually going to be on your time today.
Yeah.
You're going to be hunting deer today.
That's right.
Wow.
I'm going to go to the same stand I've gone in the last 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I got all these pictures of this 10-pointer at a different location, but I just can't seem to start opening morning in any other stand for some reason.
Okay. What do you like stand that you always end up there? Or, I mean, what does that stand have to offer? Like, what the deer?
Well, it has it's got oak trees all around it, so they're starting to drop right now.
Are they?
Usually the deer are in there in the early season trying to clean some up before the squirrels get them all.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm in there usually. I usually see deer in there, but it's kind of a funky location. I got a road right behind me, and there's a real thick bedding cover out in front of me where they had logged off, I don't know, 6-8 years ago now. So it's real thick, and then it opens up into like an oak tree stand, and then you got a road right there. But for some reason the deer travel through there in the early season while the leaves are still on the trees.
What's the weather looking like?
Oh man, it's looking awesome.
Is it?
Oh, it's supposed to be 40, 44 or 45 in the morning. Frosty. It won't be frosty, but it'll be nice and cool.
Yeah.
Little to no breeze. So I usually look at all that stuff and then go hunt the stand I want to hunt anyway.
How long have you said you set that up last week? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically no one's been back in there for a week.
Right.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, that has a lot of shooting lanes there. I mean, it wasn't like you had to saw a bunch of stuff. And
no, it's fairly open right there where that stand is. Yeah, so every year I put trail cameras up, and I don't even know why I do it, because I never see the deer that I get on trail camera. But I have this 10-pointer. This is the third year now. He's been a 10-pointer every year, and this year his tine length got a little shorter, but he got like 5-6 inches wider.
Oh wow!
So he's probably a 20-inch wide, real nice deer. But it'd be awesome to shoot him opening morning.
Real nice deer to shoot.
He was a 10-pointer when I first started getting him on camera, so he was at least 2. He was probably 3, because you don't see 10-pointers around here at 2 years old. At least I don't ever.
Right.
So he's either 4.5 or 5.5 this year, which is a fully mature buck in Perry County.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably the biggest boy on the block there, huh?
He's the biggest one I've seen.
Yeah.
Everybody that lives around me asks me if I shot him every year, and because they say I seen him at this such and such, and I seen him coming up out of the pasture bank there or whatever,
Have you ever gotten eyes on him?
Nope. I've never seen him in person.
Wow.
But I'll have the video camera and the camera arm set up tomorrow. So if we get anything, there should be a YouTube video coming out of it.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. You got a camera arm.
Yeah.
So that'd be good.
I got that all packed up, and I always had trouble with them things clanking and clinking in the dark, trying to get them set up on the tree. I'm actually thinking about, when I get the base set up on Saturday, I may just leave it up there.
Right.
I don't know how they hold up in the weather. There's only one way to find out, though.
That's true. What do you think you'll be in there well before dark, or you just kind of slip in, right?
Kurt, he's headed into public land tomorrow.
Wow.
He put a stand over on the mountain, and I think Tuesday he took it out there and put it up, and he's gonna hunt public the first day. I told him, I said, you could hunt down in the buck nest, because I'm not going to be there. And nope, I'm committed. I'm committed to shooting smaller deer. Shoot, well, that mountain buck that he shot, though, I gotta say, that was a big deer.
Yeah, that was. And now, if he shoots another big old mountain buck, is he going to get a spot on the podcast?
I don't know. I don't know if we can just give that. I don't know if we can just give that out to anybody.
Wow.
It's such a highly sought after program here. You don't want to give it to some rank amateur and just screw it all up.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I don't even think he has a studio or nothing in his house.
You in your studio?
Yeah, I am. Yep.
AKA the kitchen.
Yeah, the kitchen table. Well, what else? What are you thinking here? You thinking you ought to wrap this thing up and get hunting or what? Well, yeah, I hope the audience and I learn tomorrow that you punch your tag.
You know, if I do that, I'm done. I don't know.
What do all those smart people say? That one saying about letting the deer walk on the first day that you wouldn't let walk on the last day?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Don't let the buck walk on day one that you would shoot on the last or something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're still with us, you better go out.
Somewhere? Am I going somewhere?
You better run out and get a life as soon as possible.
Oh man!
Did we significant?
I do got to tell this. My
Okay. Yeah.
I got my wife a new Henry Silver Boy 22. She's been shooting it, and tonight she got her first kill with it. Shot a groundhog.
Nice.
Yep, first blood of the season.
Yep. Well, that side of the Mississippi.
Yeah. In Perry County, anyway.
Yeah.
It didn't have a white tail though, so I don't know. We do got to come out with a shirt and a hat here. We have hats that only the select few on the pro staff get to wear.
Yeah.
But we probably ought to make that available to the general public.
Yeah. Now we do have that signature China set that Johnny Moonwalker had personalized for us. So we thank him for that.
Yeah.
So
I thought his wife did that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. We probably should thank her. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Johnny Moonwalker's wife.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. Hey, I'd use that cup just about every day.
Yeah. So to inform the listeners, we had some coffee cups with Perry County whitetails and our personalized names on them. It was kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, very cool. So anyway, when we get this merchandise store up and running, then we'll be able to quit our day jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Judging by how this podcast is just rip roaring.
Yeah. The smoke will probably be rolling out of all the servers everywhere and trying to keep up with the amount of content that'll be flying out.
All right, man. I really do need to go to bed so I can go hunting tomorrow. But the best part is about 9:30 when the sun gets around on your side of the tree and that it starts hitting you there on the side of the head. Oh, man. I'm telling you what, I'm going to get me a nap. I've been waiting for a tree nap all year.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good.
All right.
Okay.
10-pointer down in the morning.
Okay, make sure you keep us informed.
All right.
Thanks for listening to Perry County Whitetails.
That's right.